We begin in the lower house. The Hoc Committee has started voting provision on the proposed Bangsamoro Basic Law. The panel earlier adopted by a vote of 37 to 16 the so-called Chairman and Vice Chairperson's working draft of the BBL, which will be the document the panel members will base their votes on. More details from Freddie Abando.
Voting for the approval of the draft Bangsamoro Basic Law is on the way before the House Ad Hoc Committee, chaired by Congressman Rufus Rodriguez. Its and ex-officio members designated by the House leadership.
Is that Congress will exercise its plenary powers and its collective decision to pass what is best for the Bangsamoro, what is best for Mindanao and the Philippines, and likewise what is not unconstitutional and one that does not create a sub-state.
The committee approved the working draft of the chairman and vice chairman as the basis to initiate any changes in the draft. The Rodriguez Committee will vote line by line on every provision from the preamble to Article 17 and the appendix of the Basic Law.
We had 10 executive hearings. We have proposed amendments, discussed the amendments. If you will see here, those that are there are the ones in the consolidated. And you can confirm that, Congressman Obrigat. The preamble, the first two lines, and then within the framework. And so therefore, we are saying that if you still believe, other members, that there are more amendments to be proposed, we are more than willing to accept your amendments and we vote on your amendments.
The working draft of the chairman and the vice chairman came under scrutiny with proposals for amendments or revisions to the language of every provision. Zamboanga City Congressman Celso Lobligat and Bayan Muna Party List Congressman Nery Colmenares were the most vocal in pushing for refinements of the draft BBL. All of the proposed modifications lost in the vote.
My proposal is to put internal before self-determination and to delete words extending to the present and to chart their political future for a democratic process. Mr. Chair, 2 minutes. The Supreme Court has ruled.
Yes, you have given 2 minutes.
There is a difference between internal and external self-determination.
The motion is to amend this by including and excluding those words. Any objection? It has been objected.
Objection, Mr. Chairman.
Those who are in favor of the Lobligat motion, raise your hand. By a vote of 30 against 11, the Lobligat motion is lost.
Before the committee deliberations, Rodriguez bared over 100 changes in the language of many provisions maintaining the spirit of the draft Bangsamoro Basic Law. Special focus was given to provisions related to the creation of offices in the Bangsamoro which could conflict with the mandate of constitutional bodies to include the COMELEC, Civil Service, Commission and Audit, Human Rights, and the Office of the Ombudsman. The list of amendments proposed by Davao Congressman Anthony Del Rosario has been included in the draft law to resolve concerns of non-compliance with the Constitution.
The COMELEC becomes the regional office, the electoral body in the Bangsamoro becomes the regional office of the COMELEC. The audit is not the external audit, no, it is clearly internal audit of the Bangsamoro internally, but external audit always remains with the COA. So no diminution of power. The internal audit is given by law to all departments of government and agencies.
What will be the new names of these offices?
Well, the COA internal auditing body. Okay, the COMELEC electoral body as a regional office of the COMELEC, Civil Service Office for those under the Civil Service directly. Okay, then there is no more primary responsibility of the Ombudsman of the Bangsamoro over the disciplining of the employees, because what will happen here is that the disciplining authority of the Ombudsman is still reigns over the Bangsamoro people.
Rodriguez maintained the decision to lead several provisions to include the provision on the Wali as the titular head of the Bangsamoro government, coordination controls between the national government and the Bangsamoro security concerns. The Rodriguez Committee also approved Section 3 of Article 3, the opt-in provision, which provides areas which are contiguous and outside the court territory may opt to be part of the territory upon petition of at least 10% of the registered voters and approved by a majority of qualified votes cast in a plebiscite. This happens 5 and 10 years after the implementation of the BBL.
There will be an opt-in which will be voted on by the entire affected areas. If it's a barangay, it affects municipality, and it affects the province. Everyone will vote, and it can only be received request for plebiscite every 5 years for only 10 years. So never, so the 5th year, that's the only time that there can be a request for opt-in, and on the 10th year, and that's it.
For the People's Television Network, this is Freddie Abando reporting.